One. Oh boy. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. We got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got it. It's Willy Roy. Willie, ever since I first seen you play, I said, man, that guy knows something. And I'm so thankful that you had the time to get Wales certified your informed opinion about the World Cup in general coming to the United States, anything going on in Chicago, and the team. Because where I come from, you were their guy, man. you brought some good stuff to St. Louis, and I am forever grateful. So, Willie, you're a man of few words, so go ahead, have at it.
Well, you know what? To me, I think soccer overall in the United States, they have wonderful ownerships that are spending millions and millions of dollars building stadiums, supposedly bringing good players over here. Some of them panned out, some of them did it. Some of the prices are totally out of line. But the future is good. And now with the World Cup coming over here, it is so important that the U.S. national team shows that they're not going to win the World Cup, but that they're going to be competitive, because you have players now playing in Europe, in Germany. Tillman, I think he plays with Bayer Leverkusen. You have a couple of players that play in Italy, and one of them is Captain America, or whatever he calls himself. To me, he's not Captain America, because in the game that I saw against Belgium, a turning point with him when you need somebody to stand up and take the important penalty kick or score the important goal. He had the opportunity to, first of all, in the first half, where he had an open shot and dribbled the ball past the goal. And then in the second half, he had an opportunity where he did a nice job dribbling a couple of players, and he's in front of an empty net, only the goalkeeper, and he bombs the ball way over. That would have been 2-1 for the U.S., and it would have probably changed the outcome of the game. In response, Belgium went down the field on a goal kick and scored, and started leading 2-1. And to me, I kind of like watching. Same with the manager or coach Cappuccino. I don't think I pronounced his name right, but anyway, he to me, I don't know whether he's afraid to have talks with people like Pulisic, that they so-called media darlings, but really not producers on the field. All the opportunities that he got, he should do a lot more for the team.
There it is. And you've always been about the team. That's what I can say about Willy Roy, that's for sure.
Well, the important thing is, like my days when I joined St. Louis and the team wasn't doing that well, you kind of come in and you want to make sure that you produce for them, because my situation was a little different. I lived in Chicago. I only flew into games, whether we played in Dallas, Rochester, New York, or any place else. And, initially, I'm sure that, people like Pat McBride or, some of the other players said, well, you got a good thing going. You just come to the games. But after a while, when this team started to win, and we made it all the way to the finals, then suddenly And the fans in St. Louis, to me, absolutely phenomenal fans. And soccer, without any question, with Ty Keogh and with Bob Keogh and all the people that, basically spent their lifetime promoting it. And I hope now with this new pro team that they have, I hope that it really, really does well.
Yeah, and the hope is the hope, but at some point, and you've been involved, where at some point you have to say, all right, enough is enough. We got to start anew. And
no, you are absolutely correct. My most when I started coaching, the good thing is my owner. After 2 failures with 2 coaches from Manchester United, they were assistant coaches, and it didn't work out. And he, called me after the second coach. He said, "You're taking over the team." And I told him, "No, I'm not." And he says, "What do you mean?" I said, "God couldn't coach this team." They brought players in from the 3rd division from France. I have nothing against French football, but as far as I'm concerned, you only hear about a couple of teams in the Champions League, PSG, and that really accomplished something on the world stage of soccer. So Lee Stern asked me, "What do you want?" I said, "Unless I'm totally in charge of bringing my players the months I want." The way I look at it, it's in those days, it wasn't even that you would win games 1-0 or 2-1. You had to win games 4-2, 5-0. So the people that were new to the sport said, "Oh wow, the sport is an exciting sport."
Wow. Thank you for the insight. So, do you have some tickets that you're wanting to get rid of around in the Chicago area?
I will probably have to talk to my son because he's the one involved. I'm one of these older fogies now. I'm not into the new technology that much. And, and I think there will be, there are a couple of games coming up. I think Mexico is going to play against Belgium at Soldiers Field in Chicago. And Germany is going to play against the United States, I think, in the beginning of June at Soldiers Field. So there should be nice crowds, and we're going to go. My whole family is going to go. And my son's even ordered the road uniforms from the United States. So I said, "Listen, is it okay if I wear my jersey, the one I played for in the United States?"
Wow.
And my son said, "Dad, you don't fit in it anymore." So.
Yeah, you could wear it as a handkerchief or
Yeah, right. Make a tie out of it,
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Well, give us the full disclosure, Willie. Are you going to be out there grilling for the family, bratwurst and so forth for the game day?
Yeah, my heart is obviously. I was born in Germany, so I told my son too. I was, in the olden days, Germany was a powerhouse on the World Cup circuit. Having won the most World Cup titles next to Brazil. And, I met later on, I met a lot of the idols that played for the German national team. I spoke to a couple national team coaches. I spent a week with Helmut Schön when Germany won in '74 in Florida. He was invited by the federation to give a sort of a coaching clinic. And because I'm bilingual, and his English wasn't maybe up to snuff then, so I got to know him and, had a lot of nice information. And I asked him whether he did anything special with the national team, and he said no. And my coaches in Germany, they are so well, whether it's Bayern Munich or Dortmund or some of the other teams, that all I had to do is make sure that they're mentally prepared and they're ready to go and and play for their country. That was really wonderful. And I know things have changed now a lot because some of the powerhouses, for instance, the United States beat Uruguay 5-1, and then Uruguay tied England lately. And then everybody says, well, you know what? If the U.S. beat Uruguay 5-1, well, they should be able to beat England 5-1. But after seeing the game in Belgium, I don't think that's going to pan out.
So here you go, because that's why I called you, because I woke up with a reek of thought. If you were given the power to say, Willie, please take this team, bring it to the World Cup, what would you do?
Well, but I'm not on the inside right now.
Oh, okay.
So I just see it on television, and I listen to the coaches' interview, and I listen to the players' interview, and the U.S., if you saw the first half, they have a lot of good athletes. They maybe don't have the specialists, like I mentioned before, where you score maybe a garbage goal, but you scored a goal. Or, when you're down 2-0, you step up and you score to put you in a position to tie the game and then win it again. And I kind of look at players that, I'd like to be on television. I like to make sure that my uniform fits properly and I'm not going to get it dirty on the field or I'm not going to get involved. That's not how we played in the past when I played in St. Louis and the other team, the Chicago Spurs that I played for. And everybody just said, hey, this is our home field. We're going to show them that they're not going to get away with anything. And that was basically, and what you said is absolutely correct. You played for the team. You sacrificed for the team. And,
Yeah.
and you got to get to know the players. I don't know, by watching Claudio Reyna came in as a substitute from midfield. He spent several years in Dortmund, and now he's, I think, with another team in Germany, Gladbach. And then you see Pulisic, he traveled a little bit already. Now he's in Italy, and they say, when he's playing good, well, he's playing good with good players, so
Yeah.
that makes it a lot easier. But for him now, he should use the experience that he has and, and say, okay, guys, let's go. Come pick it up a little bit. And I don't see that. I don't see that leadership on the field or maybe in the locker room or maybe from the coaching staff. It's like, okay, so we lost 5-2. Big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So that inside track really means a whole bunch. What you see off the field really means a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, without any question. Who wants to take the penalty kick in the 90th minute, when you can win the game? I had it when we played against the Cosmos in Soccer Bowl, and we were the underdog, even though during the regular season we beat the Cosmos in New York and then Chicago. So we were 2-0 that year. And then when it went into overtime, still tied, so it went into the shootout, the old penalty kicking away from the 35-yard line. And I saw one of my star players taking off his shoes as he got off the field. So I said to myself, I guess he doesn't want to take the he doesn't want to be involved. Yeah. And then I talked to the Cosmos player, that one that missed the last penalty shootout attempt. And with that, we won the game. Our goalie, Dieter Furness, made that save. And he said, Bogicevic, one of the Yugoslavian national big-time stars, the same thing. He didn't want to be the one maybe not making a goal, and then the people are going to say, oh, well, Blago didn't do it, and stuff like that.
Yeah, wow.
I want the guy that stands up and says, Coach, put me in there,
That's right. And that's on and off the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Willie, if you do you have any inside stories about Italy? Are they going to qualify?
You know what? That is a little bit of a puzzle to me, because when you look at the countries that pay the most money, okay, European countries, you're talking about Spain with Real Madrid, Barcelona, maybe Atletico Madrid. You're talking Germany with Bayern Munich, Dortmund, and then you talk in England with Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, Aston Villa. Liverpool bought this German young player, Wirtz. He plays with the national team. Very good player. He just scored. He's an offensive midfielder. He just scored 2 goals against Switzerland in Germany's friendly, and they paid $165 million to purchase him from Germany, from Leverkusen, and so money matters. People I know in this league, Chicago had a player from Switzerland, Shaqiri, a Swiss player. He was making $9 million a year. And he couldn't dribble the corner flag if the corner flag was there. He did have a good shot. He would take corner kicks, free kicks, that type of thing. But he wasn't the type of player that the fans in the United States would want to see. They want to see somebody that takes people on, that dribbles people, somebody that shoots from 25 yards, and like the Belgium did with 2 goals. When they came out, they just, came from the back and hit 2 excellent shots that Turner couldn't. He had no chance to get either one of them.
Yeah. And so, how much from your playing days and your coaching days, and now as a spectator, how much of importance do you put on the goalkeeper?
Well, obviously, goalkeepers are very important. The United States has really been blessed in the past, where they had, Casey Keller one. Then you had a couple other goalkeepers that played in England. Really, really good goalkeepers. I don't think the American coach, the Argentinian guy, I don't think he really knows for sure who the number 1 is on the U.S. national team. I think from what I see, I'm sure he's not totally. To me, it looks like he's not totally sure whether Turner's going to be the guy or somebody else is going to be the guy. But especially on a team like the U.S. or, we're talking about second-tier teams on the national scene, that a goalie is more important than, let's say, the goalie in Spain or the goalie in England or the goalie in Germany or France, because they won't have that much to do. But as you saw in the game against Belgium, Turner made some good saves. But, after a while, you get a little bit shell-shocked. Where's the defense? Why are my defenders backing up? Now is Turner talking to his defenders and says, listen, you guys need to get out. I need to see the shot coming so I can react to it. But if you back up and you stand in front of my face, by that time, it's too late,
Yeah.
So the goalie is very important, yeah.
Yeah. So indirectly, since you've been a youth all the way up, you find the importance of open, direct conversation between all teammates, that each teammate's got to claim ownership and tell the other guy, hey, man, pick it up.
No, absolutely. You know what? If you see your brother screw up, guess what you're going to say? Hey, stop it. Or you need to get a little tougher. That is not, that only helps a teammate. Or you tell him, hey, you know what? Go attack him on the 40-yard line. Don't wait till he gets in the penalty area, because then you got to be careful as a defender, because if you touch him, a guy might take a dive, the ref might not see the right thing, and then suddenly you're in trouble. So make the foul on the 40-yard line. Don't wait till you get in the penalty box.
Yeah. And that's why I'm reaching out to you, because, this is not rocket science. But the simplistic want to have it ready. You're the only way, Willie, that this way is the only winning way.
Yeah, they talked about, what's his name, Daku from Belgium. He kept dribbling people, and they interviewed him afterwards. And he said, you know what? I enjoy doing that. The moment and I had Pato Mahedek, I had Arno Steffenhagen, then Jürgen from the Danish national team, and you know what? They said, "Give me the ball. I want the ball. I want to see Pulisic say, "Give me the ball," even if I get stuck 3-4 times. But give me the ball the 5th and 6th time, and I'm gonna make something happen. Instead of just, you know what? I just made a run. I'll just pass the ball back. Let somebody else do something.
There's our Willy Roy. We love him. And so, Willie, how it goes out at Wales Certified is to say, hey, whatever you want to say to who you ever want to say it to, for as long as you want to say it for, this is your opportunity.
Well, you know what? Obviously, soccer, and I was fortunate enough to play in 3 wonderful cities, Chicago, St. Louis, and Kansas City. And to me, when I see the game, I guess there was a game in Seattle, Washington, they had over 60,000 women, 60,000 fans watching 2 women's teams play. So, the future is great. Now we just need, we need the men's team to step up a little bit, not make excuses, but say, you know what, hey, we need to do our part now too.
That's right, Willie. And really, if possibly if the right people hear this, they're going to call you up for consultant work, and
I'll split the fees with you. You can get I wasn't good at math, so you can get 75%. I'll take 25.
Okay.
Okay. You have a great day. Thank you.
All right, Willie. Bye-bye.
Bye.